Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it. Talking to Queen Teeth, talking goes like FIFA, confidence might demean. This year's playoffs have shown us a lot about certain players in the NBA and how good they actually are. Teams like the Washington Wizards, Timberwolves, the Miami Heat, and also the Portland Trail Blazers could make major changes to their roster this summer. So first, let's start off with the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers arguably could be the most disappointing team in the playoffs this year. If they aren't the most disappointing, then they're certainly second or third on that list. Going into this year's playoffs, many of us thought the Blazers were going to make some noise this year because they were a different team from years past. Portland was a top 7 defensive and offensive team all season. In previous years, they were mediocre at that end, and that was really holding them back from being one of the elite teams in the NBA. But this year, they were able to become a top 10 defensive team while maintaining their offensive firepower. And they also managed to sneak off with the 3rd seed in the West. But as soon as the playoffs started for Portland, they got that spanked by the Pelicans in just 4 games. And this will now be back-to-back years that the Portland Trail Blazers have been swept. The last playoff series that they won was back in 2016. But at that time, they were facing an injury-riddled Clippers team who was missing their 2 best players due to injury towards the end of that series, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. So that one was really not that impressive. They did what they were supposed to do. So with that being said, the Blazers need to make some changes this offseason. But due to the lack of assets and cap space on their team, they won't be able to bring in any talent unless they trade away CJ McCollum or Damian Lillard. Now, most people would rather give up CJ than Lillard, but hey, I won't be too surprised if the Portland Trail Blazers end up shopping around Lillard instead.
Hell no!
I know, it sounds kind of crazy at first, but it actually makes sense. Dame has led them to be a good regular season team multiple times, but as soon as the playoffs come around, he tends to fold quite often. And if the best player on your team can't step up, then more than likely your team's not gonna go anywhere. Dame's playoff averages have been poop this year. He averaged 18 points on 35% shooting from the field and also 30% from the 3-point line. And he nearly averaged more turnovers than assists. You know, actually, just in general, Lillard has not been good in the playoffs. I don't want you to think that I'm saying the Blazers should trade him just because of one bad series. Nah, bro, that's not the case. Out of these 6 playoff appearances that Damian Lillard has made, he's only had 2 decent runs. In the 35 playoff games that he's played, he's only shooting 40% from the field and only averaging 24 points. So it's been time and time again that Lillard has showed us that he cannot be the best player on a championship level team. Now, if the Blazers don't want to trade him, I could understand that. Why? Because he's their franchise player, and also that whole city loves that boy. He's the heart and soul of Portland. So if they don't want to trade Lillard, then that means they'd have to get rid of CJ McCollum. CJ isn't going to be as valuable in the market as Damian Lillard. The Blazers are going to have to trade one out of those 2 guys. Unless they want to stay mediocre and continue to get booted out of the first round for the next 3 to 4 years, then hey, so be it. Let's move on to the next player and team. John Wall and the Washington Wizards. Now, Wall and the Wizards have had an off year due to John Wall not being healthy. This team really never got a chance to play together a lot this season. Bro, oh God, my shoes are here. Y'all want to see the Dames that I ordered? Hold on. What were you just talking about, Damian Lillard? Shit, you want to see how icy these are? I don't know if you guys can see them, but hey, there it is. So off topic. They came in. These are my babies. These about to be my workout shoes. And you just gave me a little bag too. They need to stop playing and sponsor me for real. Yeah. Hey, who is Kick Genius? Who is Nightwing 445 or whatever that man's name is?
What are you talking about?
Okay, I think I was talking about John Wall and the Washington Wizards and how this team really never got a rhythm throughout the season. So as we all know, or at least we should know, the Wizards just got sent home in 6 games by the Toronto Raptors. Now, for the Wizards to actually go 6 games with the #1 seed in the East was actually truly amazing because John Wall and the crew haven't had a chance to play together a lot this season at all. This series could have easily gone to 7 games if the Wizards weren't missing their starting small forward, Otto Porter. Now, the major problem for the Wizards isn't on the court. They actually have valid reasons to why they underachieved this year. The problem for them is off the court. The supposed leader of this group, John Wall, is just out here pointing fingers at his teammates, and he throws them under the bus. Now, this is a huge issue because I'm sure none of the players in that locker room appreciate John Wall talking crazy to the media about how they've been underperforming. That's not how a good leader moves. They don't do those type of things. That's a no-no. Whenever a leader of a team speaks up about his group underperforming, that player usually makes it sound like it was a collective effort. You never hear any of the superstars, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, call out their own teammates to the media. If anything, those guys protect their teammates at all times. But no, that's not how John Wall rolls. He's out here saying stuff like, guys don't understand their role. But what really started all of this is some of the Wizards players in that locker room, like Marcin Gortat throwing shots at John Wall while he was injured, and John Wall is doing nothing but adding fuel to the fire. Someone has got to be traded this offseason. Could it be John Wall? Possibly, but I doubt it though. If not John Wall, then I can see the Wizards getting rid of a couple of guys on their roster, like Marcin Gortat, Kelly Oubre, and probably more. It's either Wall leaves Washington or a quarter of their team gotta get traded. These guys cannot coexist with these ongoing chemistry problems. It'd be impossible for them to win. If they keep the same core guys and they're still together for next year, there's gonna be a real toxic situation going on in Washington. In multiple interviews that John Wall has had with the media, John Wall keeps on talking about the front office bringing in new pieces to help them win.
And it is up to our front offices to add the pieces they think we need to make our team better and more complete.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but it really sounds like he's just saying he wants a couple players out of there. He's saying that in just a nice way. But here's the thing though, just like the Trailblazers, the Wizards don't have no cap space nor assets to add any more talent to their roster. So the Wizards are stuck with what they have now. I'm not saying that the Wizards are gonna have to trade John Wall this summer, but hey, if he's still unhappy there for the next 2-3 years, maybe John Wall will ask out and demand a trade. So yeah, Washington is gonna be making some type of moves this offseason, or at least they'll try to. And it might be involving players like Otto Porter, Kelly Oubre, or Marcin Gortat. On to the next one though, Hassan Whiteside and the Miami Heat. I made a whole video on Whiteside like a month ago, speculating that he would get traded this offseason. And this playoff series that Miami just played against the Philadelphia 76ers did nothing but confirm that video, that he's definitely getting traded. Recently, Whiteside has voiced his frustrations once again. He has stated that he's unsure of his future in Miami. Oh, and also Miami Heat President Pat Riley said that there has to be an intervention for Hassan Whiteside. So yeah, I can assure you that Hassan Whiteside is going to be traded this summer. Whiteside consistently gets exposed at the defensive end nowadays, since teams are running small ball lineups more often throughout games. Whiteside has like 0 IQ when it comes to guarding the pick and roll, and also his reaction time is horrendous. That's why he really didn't get much minutes in that Philadelphia series. He only averaged 5.6 boards on 45% shooting from the field while averaging 2 turnovers a game. That's terrible efficiency, and he's turning the ball over way too much. 45% from the field, that's horrible efficiency for a player who's supposed to score all his points around the rim. Now if you want to know where I think Whiteside is getting traded to, check out this in-depth video that I made a month ago. Now let's move on to Andrew Wiggins and the Minnesota Timberwolves. After watching that Minnesota versus Houston Rockets series and watching Harden consistently cook that man Andrew Wiggins on the defensive end, I am without a doubt in my mind that one of the first things that the Timberwolves are going to do this offseason is trade Wiggins. They're going to try to find that man a new home. Wiggins, as we all know, probably has been the most disappointing player in the NBA. His lack of development has held the T-Wolves back from success. Now I've made a video dedicated towards Wiggins, and in that video I was discussing potential trade destinations for him. Some teams that could scoop him up are the Los Angeles Clippers, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Orlando Magic. But this is the end of the video, man. I just want to throw out some little quick because I'm kind of sick right now. But yeah, this is the end of the video, man. I appreciate you for watching. Who else do you think is going to get traded pretty soon? Let me know. But yeah, man, this is Kick Genius, and we out.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it free to wait, told my girl